They're jealous shins. Jealous shins, aren't you? Right, are we going to go around then? See if we can patch them up? Even before they
make it work. Seems quite simple. Boat sails in, it turns round. And nobody's done another one because what we do is rather good. Here's what we do. The wheel weighs 1,800 tons. We weigh 20 tons. Then all you people coming after a Scottish breakfast, they weigh 30, 40, whatever, 50 tons, let's say, a nice round figure. We sail in and then the wheel now weighs 1,800 tons. Is that right? Yes. We worked out how to have any combination of people, boats and water. The wheel will always weigh 1,800 tons and, importantly, be in balance with the other side, regardless of the combination of people, boats and water. Because the engineers couldn't work it out, perhaps wouldn't expect you to either. They had computers, and people over 2,500 years ago didn't. But the architect remembered about the naked Greek gentleman from 2,500 years ago, who took a bath, jumped out, ran down the street and shouted the immortal words, "Where's my towel?" He then said Ephrika, which we mispronounce from the Greek as Eureka. You go to a Greek, as we often have, and here sitting I meant Eureka, and they go, "You don't smell so bad." It's Ephrika. Remain seated and lift your feet. 1.5 meters high is the water, 1.5 meters deep is the boat beneath your feet, which is why we call this the Disney boat. Because it doesn't sink. Can you guess who the first two people of the boat are if something goes wrong? That's their job. We'll jump out, pull the boat in, tie her up, see what's wrong, guide you off. But in this emergency, we're busy and you need to get off. So my tip to you is that you please remember and get off the same side of the boat we have tied up against. In Scotland, we call that the dry side. Thank you very much. Take it away, Brian.
Let's have a round of applause for Eddie. So Eddie was able to give you a few fun facts and figures there about the wheel. The audio is going to go into a bit more depth about it as well. But if you'd like to learn more about it at your own leisure, then why not buy the Falkirk Wheel Gamebook? It's got some great pictures and history of the canal inside, and goes into different design concepts for the wheel, all for the low price of £4.95, and for an extra £5 you even get a plastic bag. So if you'd like one, just stick your hand up as I come through the cabin here. Other than that, sit back, relax and enjoy the journey. Thank you.
An hour over the reinforced concrete aqueduct. There's just over 100 metres between here and the tunnel, dead ahead of us. We'll go right through that and turn around before heading back and taking a look at the view that's right behind you now. You might have noticed that there are 2 tourist boats in service at the Falkirk Wheel, each with slightly strange names. Archimedes and Antonine. Did you see which one you are on today when you got on? Those special names were chosen for a reason. They're both important parts of the wheel's identity. First, Archimedes. He was a scholar and mathematician.
Its own weight of fluid.
Okay, that might need a bit of explanation. Archimedes' principle says that when an object is placed in water, for example the boat you are sitting in now, it displaces its exact own weight in water. The amount of water that moves out of the way to make room for us is equal in weight to the boat itself. That might sound quite simple, but it's actually really important for the smooth operation of the Falkirk Wheel. Just a small push. About the same amount of energy as boiling 8 electric kettles. That's enough for a cup of tea, each for everyone on the boat. When the designers were putting the plans for the Falkirk Wheel together, they were confident it would work on pavement. Fortunately, the principle worked and the design was commissioned. As we get close to the tunnel ahead, you'll note that we're in a rather charming landscape. At some times of the year, the pool to your left is home to herons. The canal system stretching across Scotland is home to over 30 varieties of aquatic plants, 15 species of mollusks, over 30 types of water flea, and even freshwater sponges. Plus the duck meant Glasgow and Edinburgh were linked by waterways. This all meant that unprecedented amounts of trade were now possible, not only between Glasgow and Edinburgh, but also with the rest of Northern Europe and the world. In the 1830s, you noticed that we're in a much different landscape now. More intimate, and certainly not quite such grand views as on the other side. When we've turned around and gone back through the tunnel, you'll appreciate the views from there, looking out over central Scotland from a scenic vantage point. But for a moment, enjoy the canal side setting. The land around here is stunning and ready for exploration, if you're so inclined. From the visitor centre, there are 3 walks of different lengths exploring this area. including the remains of the Roman fort and the Antonine Wall. Ask for a map in the visitor centre, or you can hire bikes and make your way 6 kilometres east along the canal path to see the Kelpies. 2 majestic 30-metre high sculptures of horse heads rising out of the water. These Celtic water horses are not only a link with the mystical mythology of Scotland, but are also a reminder of the vast numbers of horses who worked on the canals pulling barges for years on end. Today we run our boats on diesel, left by the side of the canal towpath anymore. And we can now travel faster and in almost all weathers too. You'll notice 2 more locks here. These take boats to the main level of the Union Canal, another 7 metres up, making the total height above our starting point 35 metres. It might have been easier just to fill the canals in and forget about them altogether. But then, in the late 1990s, it was realised that the redevelopment of these waterways, the 2 gondolas between them hold 1 million litres of water and can lift the weight of 100 elephants. And it does all that in just 5 minutes, using the power of a few electric kettles. Amazing, isn't it? If you were thinking of getting one for yourself, do be aware that the price tag comes at a whopping £20 million. We're heading back into the gondola now, so that we can rotate back down.
The imagination that have underpinned the very best of Scottish culture since the 1700s. And, more importantly, it stands as one monument, celebrating the past, but also what may be possible in the future.